Everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. I am Swapnil Pote. You are watching Knight 2.5. So today we are going to see how to destroy the Scholar's Mate trap. So first we have see the chest trap of Scholar's Mate. So now how we will see how to refute it. So the Scholar's Mate is white plays pawn to e4, black responds pawn to e5, queen to h5, and now here is the trick. Yeah? So the trick starts from something like you can't play g6 because now queen can take this pawn on e5 which is unprotected, and whatever you defend with this check, queen is always going to take this rook. So this doesn't work. So you have to first protect this pawn. This pawn is very crucial in this trap. So black plays knight to c6, and now basically the scholars made trap move further. So bishop to c4, and now we can see this queen and bishop attacks the weak pawn on f7. So now how to defend it? So the best way is to play pawn to g6. Now white again tries by playing queen to f3. Now again the queen attacks the pawn, and black has to defend this f7 pawn. So now black can do this by simply developing his piece. So now white thinks like, okay, he has wasted so much moves. Now he has to get this weak pawn on his radar. So he tries, he can go queen to b3 and attack this pawn further, like with the queen and the bishop. And also another tactics can be like playing pawn to g4. The thing is, now white wants to play something like, if black simply develops this bishop for example, so now white wants to play pawn to g4, and now this knight is attacked. So now if you do something like just simple move, I will mate you. So this can't work here. So basically you are losing your knight if you simply do developing move here. So now the best line here can be, okay, so we have to take a move back, and the best line can be attacking the queen by knight d4. And now queen also has to look this square, because if given a chance, I will like to take the pawn on c2 with the knight attacking the king and forking this rook. So now queen has to go back, and now the main thing is now this g4 pawn is weak. So what black can do is sacrifice this pawn. It's not a sacrifice, but you want to open this bishop line by attacking this bishop. So now white take this pawn, there is no other option, and after taking with bishop, now you are simply with a better position. Like you have to save this attack with something like bishop to bishop to d bishop to e2, because if you don't, like first we will check what after bishop to e2. Black can simply take this pawn. Now black is well developed. We can see his three pieces are out. The queen is also in the center. And suppose if white says I will take your bishop, then black can take his rook. So basically, even if this exchange doesn't happen, black is certainly winning here because of his activity. Also something like f3 don't work here because of tactics of knight e4, and you can't take anything because there is mate in 2 by queen h4 check, and after king f1, queen f2 is checkmate. So basically two moves don't work. And if you play something like knight to knight to e2, then there is a very pretty checkmate. I will suggest you to find this checkmate and comment down in the comment section. Hope you found this. It is knight to f3 check, and after king f1, you will just simply deliver the checkmate, and it's very nice because you can see now bishop is guarding this square, king is here, so and these two squares are guarded by the knight. So it's very pretty checkmate. You can also recognize this pattern of bishop and knight working together. It's very nice. Also, suppose we can check other line now. If not g4 and white tries for something like queen b3. Now you are attacking. So basically I would like to tell that something like queen to e7 is completely fine. You protect this pawn, but this is a passive way to play. You can play here attacking by playing knight to d4. Now the thing is, if we captures with the bishop on f7, you think I have to play king e7 and my king is in the center now. But don't forget you are attacking his queen also. And if he tries to remain on the same diagonal, you can play pawn to b4. And now this queen is attacked by this pawn. And now you can't maintain this diagonal because this square is covered by this knight. Here is the queen attack. Also here the knight covers this square and this square is covered by this pawn. So you have to leave this diagonal. And suppose if we leave something here, you can just take this bishop and you are in a completely winning position. Another way to play is, if you don't want to play knight to d4 here, you can play pawn to d5. And now the interesting thing is, after something like pawn captures, you can attack this queen by your knight to d4, and now the queen has to move somewhere by protecting this square also. So suppose I move the queen on c7. So now you will develop your bishop with a tempo, attacking this pawn twice, and if you don't protect it, I will just simply take this pawn with the knight and forking your rook and the king. So you will lose this rook and will be in completely winning position. So white will play pawn to d3. And what after pawn to d3? Now here is the amazing tactics. I will suggest you to find these tactics and also comment down here. And the tactics is bishop to b4. The thing is, first of all, I am pinning your queen. If you do something like a3, I will just take your queen, and this will be a completely winning position. And suppose you say this is the free bishop, yeah, why don't I take it? And that's the idea I am talking now for very long time. Fork, yeah, you can again give this fork, and this time you don't capture this rook. This suddenly hangs the queen now, and now after somewhere the king's move, you can take this queen and be in completely winning position with queen up and material completely developed. Hope you like this video, and if you like, please do like, share and subscribe, and also comment down your views. It will help me to improve. Thank you.